here we are at Orlando, and I'm here with David Hobbs, that he's a trainer of the Society of NLP. So, David, the first question, how did you arrive to the society? How was your first interaction with NLP? Was it with us or with somebody else?
Actually, about 27 years ago, I was working with some people in U.S. Army counterintelligence.
Okay.
And one of the people that I've had a relationship with now for close to 30 years told me about somebody that had trained him many years ago, and that was Dr. Richard Bandler.
Okay.
And so, you know, I was very curious about what he was talking about. He said, well, what do you use this for? And they said, well, you know, we use this technology when we're developing long-term assets. You know, in counterintelligence, that's catching spies and converting them to your side to be double agents, or getting long-term intelligence information out of somebody. So I was fascinated with, you know, how do you do this?
Yeah, of course. Sounds great, right?
Yeah, like how do you take somebody that's working for the other team and convert them over to your side, and or use them as an intelligence asset for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So I started learning that, and probably in the last 6 years is when I really have dedicated myself to spending the time with Richard and training seminars live, and saying, okay, I'm going to make absolutely sure that every year that I'm live at one of the trainings.
Okay, so you started with your practitioner?
Actually, so in terms of live trainings with Richard,
Yeah.
I've trained with a lot of other teachers
Okay.
previously, and so I've seen other people's style. So with Richard, what I started with was actually persuasion engineering,
Okay.
as I decided to move more from being technical and doing things in the technical realm to moving over into sales.
Okay, cool.
And I figured, you know, sales is a great place to go. So I asked my handler, you know, have you ever thought about using this to make a whole bunch of money?
Yeah.
And he's all, you know, he calls me Boots. He's all, you know, Bootsy, that you know, the thought had occurred to me. So he's like, I think you probably could do it. I thought, let's see, do I want to make more money? Of course, the answer was yes.
Yeah,
So moved into sales and into the sales side of the house. Persuasion engineering was really good as the first seminar. Some of the other seminars I took after that was shamanics and altered states.
Bristol.
Brighton.
Brighton. Yeah,
in England.
in England. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking with Kate, and she says, you know,
Kate Benson.
Yeah. She says,
Okay.
you know,
Our director of education. Okay.
she says, you know, that neurohypnotic repatterning is right before that, and since you're making the flight over, and I said, yeah, you know, I've been hypnotizing people for quite some time.
Yes.
And pretty decent hypnotist.
Well,
done
I
stage
worked with you today, and you're a very good one.
Thank you. You know, I did stage prac with other people that are stage hypnotists and things along that line. So, you know, I said I've studied with others. So I said, okay, I'll do NHR as well. So came in through NHR. DHE was another one that I, you know, put on the list to do. So did platform, charisma enhancement, trainers training.
That's when we met last year. Trainers trainer.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of went around the other way.
Yes.
And getting there.
Okay. Cool. So you've worked with clients using your NLP skills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So is there a client that you can recall that you worked with them, with him, with her, and in a matter of minutes or hours, you just saw how they blossom in front of you. You saw actually the change, and after years or after months, you met them and they're like, oh man, David, my life was like this after a session with you. It's before and after.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you share a story of that?
So there's somebody that had a real life-changing moment when they were 13.
Okay.
And their mother had passed away. And one of the things that they had a bond with her was that, I live in Seattle where marijuana is legal.
Yeah.
And so they smoked pot with their mom, kind of growing up, and that was like their thing.
Yeah.
And so every day, since the time he was about 13 years old, he would recall the memory of his mother and the love and the everything, and he would put the pipe to his mouth and smoke every day.
Yeah.
And so we had a session, and we had some real amazing work inside, both a deep trance and in a state of absolute phenomenon. I did a bit of energy work, Kundalini,
Okay.
meditation things, and helped to kind of be the guide for, accessing directly that entity or being, and could help to shift a little bit that, it's okay, you can have the memories at any time, and you can always be basked in the warm glow
Yeah.
of her love.
Yeah.
And
Without the pipe.
well, the second session was when we, the first one was, having the warm glow and the love and the reconnection.
Okay.
And the second session was actually the, you don't have to keep repeating this pattern that no longer is attached to
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Right. So I took the core of, what he was after, and installed the core of what he was after, which was the basking glow and loving memory. And then the second was, okay, what are the other side effects that are still going on that aren't serving you?
Yes.
And do you need to continue to do this in order to have something that you already have?
Exactly.
So, he went, God, I think almost a year later came up to me, and he's like, when I want to, and it's because I want to,
Yes.
but I don't wake and bake. I don't, I'm not in a state of perma-stoned.
Yeah. Or
And
hooked.
he's like, I can go weeks, without it. I can go 6 months without it.
So you gave him back his liberty, his freedom of choice.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Because one of the things is that we see a lot is that there are so many people doing things outside of what we have learned from Richard. And it's amazing how people can change something and make it a totally different thing, that the purpose is lost. It's amazing. It's like a technique that you use, understanding that technology. It's not a recipe. You know how to use the recipe because you understand what, and elicit what you need. But some people are selling this beautiful technology that Richard and Grinder created, and they're selling like a recipe, so it's like magic. And it's far away from that, right?
Yeah, there's, I've looked at other trainers. I've modeled other trainers. I've spent some time modeling Richard. I don't know that I'll ever be able to fully, grasp what, all of it, but I pick up pieces every time.
Yes.
There's other trainers that dumb things down really simple, and they're very slow in the way that they deliver it. And sometimes I don't necessarily believe that that's the healthiest way of going about it. It's kind of like the old analogy that Richard uses. If I, take a stack of paper and I draw something on one page,
and I give you a
page today,
and 1 week the other one.
I'll give you another page
instead of
5 years from now. Yeah. Right. Instead of it being a dot that turns into a man that gets up and then
exactly.
flaps his arms and turns into a bird and flies across the screen. Yeah. Exactly. So I believe in really getting it from the source, from the creator of the technology, and I see how much it has improved and gotten even better and better throughout the years, and that's probably one of the reasons why I keep coming back. Even today, there were things that he was doing in metaphor.
Today it was the metaphor.
Mind blowing.
It was the metaphor of the forks, the silverware, coming from outside in, inside. Oh man, that was
teaching.
That was just amazing.
You know, and he used a second metaphor even in the computer software subroutine calls, and like he's teaching nested loops again.
Exactly.
Right? And demonstrating it while he's doing it, and I've never heard him use these metaphors before in the way that he was teaching. I thought it was absolutely fantastic, amazing.
It is. It is. Do you recall in one of his trainings something that he has done on stage that you were like blown away?
Boy, there's so many moments throughout. Today I was taken aback. I mean, I've watched the Art and Science of Nested Loops.
Yes.
I've trained with them. Trainers training, had aha moments, you know, when he was doing state chaining, and I think every time that I come, I have an aha moment, and those aha moments go, okay, here's all the stuff that you had installed over the years, right? It's like getting a software download, you know, or getting an update. Every time I update my computer, I get new software, or you know, seems like some programs update a little more than they have to because they're, you know, other programs are buggy.
Yeah.
But you know, every improvement that I get of my computer's OS, I'm like, why wouldn't I want an improvement on my own OS of what's been installed?
Of course.
So every time I have these aha moments that I say, wow, I never saw that before. I think it's, you know, just mind blowing. This morning session, the way that he taught nested loops was, it was incredible. My jaw was on the floor. I'm like,
I was beside of you.
yeah. Every training has something that's absolutely incredible, that's magical along the way. Even today, we've done some exercises that we did in one of the trainings in England, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this software is already there. Wow, it's working even better.
Exactly.
It was amazing.
Exactly. One thing that I hear so many times when we take the first break of the first day of any seminar with Richard is sometimes you hear people like, why is he telling so many stories? I don't get it. And people that have some experience working with Richard come by and say, wait until the seminar is over, 2 or 3 days, and you won't understand the stories, but you will understand the change. And I think it happened to you, it happened to me. I was like, when I returned to my country and did my practitioner course, there was something that I wanted to change, but it was in my unconscious. So it was like, how many times did you hit the brake driving here? I don't know, but you hit it. Okay, cool. So 3 or 4 days at my country, I did something that I usually did in a totally different way. And like in the second time that I did it, I stopped. I was like, hey, I usually do this. Now without thinking, I did it the other way. The one that was my wanted desire, the one that was my what I would like to do it all my life. And that's when it hit me. I was like, man, now without understanding it completely what he did, it worked. And that's when I say, or said to myself, no, I need to continue learning and learning, because you never stop learning.
Yes.
You never stop learning. You said it very beautiful. You get a message from your iPhone, from your Android, you need to update the software. You're in Windows 9, you need to download Windows 10. What about this? When are you going to upgrade it? The analogy that he uses...
Well, no, I want to stay on Windows version 3.1 forever.
Exactly.
Right? Once they invented Windows, it was all over. Computers were done.
Exactly. He uses a metaphor, the BMW, that he went to a shop and they optimized the BMW, and it was only 30 days out of the fabric, and still it got optimized. So I think that is a beautiful concept to everybody that practices NLP or not, because the only way that we go ahead is to evolution, is the evolution of your mind, your thoughts, the way that you think, and how he says it. You think differently, you feel differently, you will act differently. So, if anybody wants to contact you, you have your Facebook, your Instagram, please.
So Facebook, I'm / Lord Boots, LORDBOOTS.
Okay.
LinkedIn, LinkedIn / David Hobbs. Probably the best ways to get in touch with me.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much for your time then.
Yeah, thank you.